In March 2026, Asian stock markets crashed, and thousands of international flights were abruptly grounded. Major airport terminals plunged into darkness. Within days, the price of crude oil spiked 78%, breaking past $110 a barrel and triggering a massive global energy shock. The catalyst for this paralysis was a series of military airstrikes on February 28, targeting Iranian leadership and resulting in the assassination of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. The retaliation that crippled the global economy came in the form of geography, the physical closure of the Strait of Hormuz. This data visualization shows exactly what happens when you block a gap just 21 miles wide. That narrow stretch of water is the only exit for 20% of the world's oil and massive volumes of liquefied natural gas, or LNG, which is natural gas cooled to a liquid state to make it easier to ship overseas. Severing that single geographic artery instantly took a localized military conflict and turned it into an inescapable global economic paralysis. The immediate casualty was crude oil. Almost overnight, up to 10 million barrels a day of Gulf production vanished from the market. Out on the water, massive container ships that normally rely on the highly efficient Suez Canal route were suddenly trapped or forced to abandon the Red Sea entirely due to regional instability. With the primary shipping lane too dangerous to navigate, these vessels had to take a desperate alternative route, detouring all the way down around the Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa. This detour adds weeks of travel time to a standard voyage, consuming tons of extra maritime fuel in the process. Those extra weeks at sea directly hit the consumer wallet. Shipping companies pass those expenses down the line, causing a 15 to 30% spike in the basic logistics costs for goods shipped around the world. In the sky, the math is even more brutal. International airlines are highly sensitive to the cost of jet fuel, forcing major carriers to ground thousands of flights and completely abandon their highly profitable Middle Eastern travel hubs. By simply forcing crude oil to take a longer path, the profitability and basic functionality of the entire global transportation network was dismantled. The second resource to stop flowing was liquefied natural gas. The crisis escalated when Qatar shut down its massive gas liquefaction facilities and declared force majeure. Force majeure is a standard legal clause that frees a company from its contractual obligations due to extreme, unforeseeable circumstances. This animated trade route shows where that missing Qatari LNG was supposed to travel, straight to the tech-heavy economies of Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea. Those countries harbor a critical vulnerability. Modern semiconductor fabrication, the process of manufacturing the computer chips that run our devices, is incredibly energy-intensive. It requires immense, uninterrupted baseload power to function. That sudden energy starvation halts the factories making the chips and directly threatens the operation of massive AI data centers across the globe that rely on those exact components. Without a steady, reliable flow of natural gas from Qatar to power East Asia, the physical cost of digital computing skyrockets. This physical energy shortage creates a strict limit on processing power, severely bottlenecking the ongoing global expansion of artificial intelligence. A physical energy disruption in the Persian Gulf strands cargo ships. More critically, it directly throttles the future of global technological advancement. This flowchart illustrates how compounding shipping rates and rising tech costs merge to create a phenomenon called cost-push inflation. Cost-push inflation occurs when overall prices rise due to increases in the cost of wages and raw materials, rather than an increase in consumer demand. This specific type of inflation creates a trap for central banks and economic policymakers. Traditional tools, like cutting interest rates, are useless against a physical supply-side shock. You can lower rates all you want, but a central bank cannot print more oil to put on a ship. The 2026 war exposed the terrifying fragility of our supply chains. They were highly optimized for efficiency, but completely dependent on a few geographic narrow points. As a result, nations are being forced into an aggressive economic rewiring, desperately trying to decouple their economies from Middle Eastern fossil fuels. This shifts the adoption of decentralized renewable energy from a long-term environmental goal to an immediate, urgent matter of national security and economic survival. The 2026 war will eventually end. The underlying systems the global economy uses to move, build, and power itself are now permanently rewired.